So yeah, Brendan Allen versus RDR is happening this Saturday, and it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting matchup in general. I know at first I was sliding RDR more, but now that I'm thinking about it, uh, still think RDR is gonna win. Don't get me wrong, but it's not gonna be a dominant win. The fight is gonna be more competitive than people think. I'll admit in a previous video I was salty. I was salty. My boy Anthony Hernandez had to pull out. But as dumb as Brendan Allen can be sometimes with his fight IQ, I'm fully aware that he's a good fighter. And he's in the top 10 for a reason. Now, I do think this fight is going to be competitive, at least early on. But the longer it goes, I think RDR is going to win with the W. Because when I look at this matchup, I just trust Reinier De Ridder more as a fighter. Not because Brendan Allen isn't skilled, he is. But RDR makes smarter choices, let's just say how it is. He doesn't waste movement, he doesn't force things, and he doesn't gamble when he's already winning. Brendan Allen, on the other hand, is talented, but he has this tendency to get ahead of himself. You'll see him doing well, then out of nowhere, he'll go for a submission he doesn't need, or he'll fall to his back chasing something that isn't there. It's not that he's bad, it's that he doesn't always manage the fight in front of him. RDR just doesn't make those kind of mistakes. Over 5 rounds, that difference in patience and judgment can completely shift the whole control of the tempo. Then there's the grappling side, which is where the fight is really built. Let's just say it how it is. Brendan Allen has great jiu-jitsu, no question about it, but Reinier De Ridder's style is built to frustrate guys like him. He's not your typical clean position grappler. He's awkward. He'll let you think you're in control, then use his long, weird limbs and leverage to roll and reverse or trap you in something weird. We saw it against Bo Nickel, a top-level wrestler, and against Robert Whittaker, who's no slouch anywhere. RDR doesn't need to dominate every second of the fight. He just needs one transition, one grip, one shift in a balance to flip a position, and suddenly he's on top. Once he's there, he's heavy, calculated, and he knows exactly how to keep it that way. Now, the physical difference is another thing that stands out in my opinion. RDR is a huge middleweight. Not just tall, but strong in a way that wears you down. His clinch work is underrated. Those knees to the body, that slow squeeze pressure, the way he ties you up and leans his weight, it's all taxing. Allen's used to being the one who's controlling, the grappling exchanges, but against RDR, that won't be easy. RDR has the same type of suffocation style that Chase Hooper used. That lanky, tricky, never letting you rest your energy, just in a much powerful frame. I also think RDR just has understanding or a better understanding of momentum. When he has success, he builds on it. He doesn't throw it away, trying to force a finish. He'll jab, clinch, knee, control, and wear you out. Then over the fight, he'll try to drag it on. Even if Allen stays strong, RDR's composure, his pressure will start piling up. The jab, the body, the work control, everything. It's all designed to take confidence away slowly. So yeah, I don't think RDR is just going to run through Brendan Allen, but I do think he beats him convincingly. Whether it's a late finish or a clear decision, he's the steadier fighter, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's smarter, and he's more consistent. Over 25 minutes, that's going to matter more than anything. Now, even though I'm picking RDR, I'm not blind to what Brendan Allen brings to the table. And that's what makes this fight interesting. The guy can fight. He's got legitimate skills everywhere. And when he's in rhythm, he's dangerous. I think people forget how good Brendan Allen actually is because of how inconsistent that fight IQ can look at sometimes. But when he's dialed in, he's clean, his boxing is pretty decent, his jiu-jitsu is slick, and he's one of the few guys in the division who can threaten both standing and on the mat. And I do believe early in this fight, I think Allen can have some real success on the feet. I mean, after all, he's faster with his hands, his combinations are smoother, and technically he's the more polished in pure boxing range. RDR striking is still effective, but it's not textbook. It's awkward, it's stiff, and kind of built around closing the distance for clinching and takedowns. If Allen can stay disciplined, use that jab, leg kick, and forward pressure to keep RDR at range, he can score it early. He's good at throwing straight punches down the middle, and if he catches RDR leaning in or being too tall defensively, those shots can add up. Where Allen can also be dangerous in this fight is the first half of the fight. We've seen it against guys like Nasruddin Imavov and Anthony Hernandez. He starts strong, he controls the pace, and usually wins those opening rounds. He has the ability to make his opponents hesitate with how aggressive he is early. And if he can get RDR defending instead of advancing, that's how you can slow down the pressure and give Allen time to find those openings for his own grappling. And speaking of grappling, Brendan Allen's back game is serious. His rear naked choke is money. And when he takes your back, he doesn't waste the position. He's got great instincts and scrambles, and even if he gets reversed, he doesn't panic. That's why I think early on this fight could feel more like a chess match. I mean, both guys trying to figure out who can dominate the position and who can make the first mistake. But, this is the big but. The thing is, Allen's biggest strength is also tied to his biggest weakness. He fights emotionally. That energy helps him early. It makes him come out hard, no homo. It makes him chase the finish. But if he doesn't get it, that same energy drains later. Against someone like RDR, who thrives in longer grind, heavy fights, that's a dangerous trade-off. Still, for the first 5 to 10 minutes, I expect Brendan Allen to look good. He's fast, confident, and capable of stealing rounds. If RDR's timing takes too long to click in, we might see Allen up 2 rounds early. But after that, I do believe RDR is going to start winning. Once RDR starts settling into his rhythm and start forcing those clinch exchanges, that's where the fight shifts. So the thing about this fight is the way their styles clash. It's just awkward for both guys. Like, Allen's game looks clean when he's the one that's pressing forward, but RDR is not going to give him that same rhythm. RDR doesn't move like a normal guy. He's not bouncing in and out or standing square. He's weirdly upright, switching stances between that jab, that long guard, then just slides into the clinch before you even notice. That's where Allen's going to struggle. He likes being in that boxing range, but RDR is not going to let him chill there long enough to set up those combos. Every time Allen starts landing, RDR is probably going to step in and smother him, grab him, knee him, make him uncomfortable. It's going to feel like fighting a spider that's just trying to tangle with you the whole time. And that's what kills Allen's rhythm. That's when he can't breathe between exchanges, because if he forces him to keep resetting, he starts making those small mistakes, reaching too far, throwing that naked kick, or forcing a takedown. That's exactly what RDR wants. The other thing is, RDR doesn't need to win the stand-up exchange clean. He just needs to make them kind of messy enough to close the gap. Those knees to the body, that clinch, that small trip, that's where his money is at. He doesn't have to outbox Allen. He just has to outlast him in those grinding moments. You're going to see Allen try to fight technical, but RDR is going to drag him into that style that feels ugly, like something you can't quite get comfortable with. And I think that's where the fight starts tilting. Once Allen's rhythm gets interrupted, the confidence starts to fade. You can't really bully momentum against someone who doesn't give you space to breathe. That's what RDR does best. He doesn't let you feel like you're in control, even when you're doing well. So here's how I see the fight going. I think Brendan Allen's actually going to come off, pretty good in the first, round. He's fast, confident, and he's one of those guys who likes to make a statement early. I can see him walking RDR down, throwing clean combinations, trying to get respect right away. Maybe even touch him a few times with a jab or a body kick. I don't think RDR is going to panic, though. He's going to take a few shots, get his read, and start slowly, closing the space. Then the first few minutes might look like Allen's fight. He's going to be the one that's pushing forward, keeping RDR back near the cage, and maybe even stuffing an early takedown attempt. But once RDR finds his timing, and he always does, that's when he starts, to make it uncomfortable. You see him grab the clinch, sneak in the knee to the body, and just kind of melt time off the clock. That's his thing. He slows the fight down until it feels like it's happening on his terms. By the middle of the second round, I think that's where Allen's going to start realizing how heavy this fight is. Not heavy like he's getting rocked, but heavy in the sense that everything RDR does takes something out of you. You push him off, he grabs you again. You defend one takedown, he goes right back to it. You separate, he's already walking you down. It's like you can't get your breath back. And let me tell you something, once they start clinching more consistently, that's where I think RDR is going to break him down. Those knees to the body, those short elbows in the close control, it all starts adding up. And even if Allen's doing okay in moments, they're slowly going to be draining him. You're going to see him breathing a little heavier, the punches coming out a little slower, maybe reaching on his shots instead of setting them up. On the ground, I see a few scrambles early. Allen's not easy, an easy guy to hold down. He's slick, but he moves well. He's strong enough to pop up, but the difference is that RDR doesn't need to dominate every second. He just needs one moment to flip it. You saw it in the Bro Nickel fight. He got taken down, he reversed it, and suddenly he was the one controlling. I think we'll see something similar here. But by round 3, I think the whole fight starts tilting to RDR's favor. Allen's volume's going to dip, RDR's control gets cleaner, and those little moments, the knees, the cage pressure, the top time start stacking points. Allen might try to surge again in round 4, maybe even go for a takedown or try to get a choke, but I think RDR's composure is going to shut that down. If there's a finish, it comes late. Maybe a TKO from ground and pound or a submission after Allen gasses out. But honestly, I think Allen's too tough to get the finish. He's going to survive, but not win the long game. I'll say that. By the end, I see RDR standing there with another solid win. Nothing crazy, just a steady professional performance. Brendan Allen always starts, strong, but he fades later on. And RDR does what he always does. Until the fight's not even about damage anymore, it's about control. So I'm leaning RDR by decision, probably a 48-47, maybe a 49-46, competitive early, but once RDR settles in, it's his fight all day. But those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, I'll see you guys on my next one.